Mascara is probably the most difficult one to come up with. Of course, I have to go with the most difficult first. But it's the number one product, that women ask for. And most women don't want to leave the house without wearing their mascara. So finding, something that is clean yet comfortable, but you can have the cleanest formula and you think it's great, but if it doesn't wear well, people aren't going to wear it, right? They're still going to go back to what they like. So you need performance on top of that. So that's another reason it took so long, almost 4 years, 4 years in July since I started the process. But finding that right formula that wasn't irritating, removed easily, but it wears well.
Welcome to Breast Intentions, the podcast where we take off the bra of expectations and dive into honest, empowering conversations. We're your hosts, Nadine and Cynthia, two Canadian girls who swapped snow boots for flip-flops in the Cayman Islands. This is your space to feel seen, supported, and a little less alone. So grab a cup of coffee or a glass of champagne and get ready for your weekly handful of truth, wellness, and empowerment. Welcome back to Breast Intentions. Our next guest is Dr. Kimberly Rearden, an eye care expert who's passionate about helping people not only see their best, but look and feel their best too. As the founder of Dab Cosmetics and creator of Ever Beauty Mascara, she's bringing eye health to the beauty industry in a whole new way.
So on today's episode, we have Dr. Kim Rearden. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Now, you are an optometrist based in Florida, and you are also the owner and the creator of Ever Beauty Cosmetics.
Correct.
Very exciting. Once when we had Dr. Choksi on the podcast a couple weeks ago, he had told us about you, and we were like, okay, we definitely need to talk to her because a lot of people do talk about like the dry eyes, and we'll get into that a little bit more as well. But you've basically created a cosmetic line, an eye line for people who suffer with dry eyes and probably a number of other eye issues. So if you wouldn't mind giving our listeners a little bit of an intro on how you became an optometrist and what led you into the Ever Beauty Cosmetics line.
Yeah, so I've been a practicing optometrist. I finished my residency in 2010. Not shortly thereafter, in 2013, I started working with Dr. Choksi, and he was doing a lot with dry eyes, and he asked, is this something you're interested in as well? And I was like, yes. So it was a good partnership because he's a surgeon. So I help kind of get those patients ready for surgery and then kind of help them take care of the eyes after surgery. So it was a good, working relationship. And so that's when I really started really paying attention to dry eyes and really focusing on that. And it kind of organically grew to where now locally I'm kind of like the local dry eye specialist because it's not all that I do, but it's a lot of what I do. And dry eyes plays a part in kind of everything that we do in eye care, from, making sure you have an accurate glasses prescription to preparing you for surgery. So it's just in everything that we do. And I just took it and ran with it. And it's really became my passion.
Right. And he was saying that you had the dry eye clinic that's there.
Yes.
Or something. Yes. Okay.
Yep. So we've got a dry eye clinic and yep.
Okay. Out of curiosity, how many clients are men versus women?
So when it comes to dry eyes, majority are female.
Okay.
And statistically, it's about 70%.
Okay.
But surprisingly, I do see a lot of male patients with dry eyes as well. Okay. So it's not just women, but it leans more towards us.
Are the age range, is it a wide age range or is it mostly people kind of in midlife?
So that's a good question because dry eyes can affect people of all ages. I will say it is more common as we get older,
right.
And especially women in menopause, we see a big shift there. But thanks to being on the computers all the time, I'm seeing younger and younger patients. And some because of cosmetics. I had one not too long ago. She was a young tween and, not properly wearing eye makeup and ended up having problems. So it's really all ages, but it is more common the older we get, right. And again, more common in females.
Right. And I guess like we weren't wearing the makeup as much or the products at such a young age as I think a lot of them are now. So that's interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about Ever Beauty as well. Like, how did that start and how did that come along?
So it's been a long process. Actually, opened an LLC back in 2022 after talking with my family, because I was telling them all the things that I do at work, and I get this recurring theme of talking about cosmetics with women. I'm like, I don't have a great option for them. So I was, you know what? There's not a great option. So why don't I create one? And I just kind of took the idea and ran with it. And I've learned a lot along the way, but that just kind of organically grew because there was a problem and I'm trying to help find a solution for it. And I just took a big old leap of faith.
Did you?
And said, I don't know anything about starting a business, but here I go. So I've learned a lot along the process and a lot of research to find that right manufacturer to work with, to come up with my products. And, mascara is probably the most difficult one to come up with. Of course, I have to go with the most difficult first. But it's the number one product, that women ask for. And most women don't want to leave the house without wearing their mascara. So
Sure.
finding, something that is clean yet comfortable, but you can have the cleanest formula and you think it's great, but if it doesn't wear well, people aren't going to wear it, right? They're still going to go back to what they like. So you need performance on top of that. So that's another reason it took so long, almost 4 years, 4 years in July since I started the process, but finding that right formula that wasn't irritating, removed easily, but it wears well. So
Right.
it was difficult, but here we are.
Good for you. We're going to get into many questions around eyes and beauty and makeup and that kind of thing as we start to go along. But one of the things when you and I were talking earlier was what prompted you to also get into the beauty line was you had a lot of your patients that were being told, well, just don't wear makeup, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that how it kind of prompted?
Yeah, exactly. And I've had many women say, I've had asked other doctors, what brands can I wear? What do you recommend? And a lot of them kind of were dismissive. Oh, well, just don't wear it. You don't need it, Well, we know we don't need it, but we want it. So,
Right.
That didn't sit right with me. I want to try to help find a solution for women who they need it, because that is a need, looking beautiful, wanting to feel beautiful, that is a need. And, I think it's important that we understand that as doctors, that we may not think the patient needs it, but they want it, and it's still valid.
And I think what will end up happening in those situations is even if a doctor does tell a woman to just not wear makeup, you're going to wear makeup. Yeah. You're going to do it, and then you're going to keep on suffering, and then you're probably going to spend a lot of money going through a number of different products to try and find something that works. So good on you for actually taking it a couple steps further. You might as well
give them a safe option.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, one of the things that we have talked to Dr. Choksi about this, but we wouldn't mind hearing it from you as well, is for women who are listening who may not even realize that they have dry eyes, what are some subtle signs or symptoms that they might be overlooking?
So I'd say one of the most common, we think dry eyes, we think it's a feeling. Mm-hmm. Sometimes your eyes feel fine and it's a vision problem. I see that quite often where people will say, oh, my eyes feel fine. I just can't see. I'm constantly blinking and, it's clear for a little bit and then it gets blurry. And some days it's fine. And then some days I really just don't feel like I see well. And that's because their tear film constantly in flux and changing and it can't keep up. And so it's manifesting through their vision and not necessarily how they feel. So that's probably the number one that people don't associate. The number two that I hear a lot is tearing. So people will come in, well, no, I don't have dry eyes. My eyes aren't dry. They're tearing. They're too wet. Yeah. They can't possibly be a dry eye problem. When in fact, 9 times out of 10, it's a dry eye problem.
Yeah, and that was something that we were talking about on the last episode. And I don't think that I would have ever thought that dry eyes was when you had teary eyes. No, wouldn't have known. No. So let's go into makeup, because I think that there's a lot of us that are very interested in learning a little bit more about this. The right way to apply eyeliner that is healthy for your eyes, especially for women over 40. What is the best way to apply eyeliner?
So your eyeliner for your upper lids should be above your lashes, not below. And for your under eye, it should be under the lashes. You don't want it to be above, right?
So not in that little, like I did today.
Yeah, right?
Just did it today.
I know this will be the next topic, I'm sure, because it leads into it, but the tight lining, when you're putting it on what we call the lid margin. So when your eyelids close, where they open, or little oil glands open up right there, right? So when you're taking eyeliner, you're putting it right over, and a lot of them have waxes in it. That's how they keep it to stay in place. Now you're taking that waxy residue and just putting it right over the openings of those glands. Now that's not allowing those oils to reach the surface. So every time you blink, little amounts of oil are getting expressed into your tear film. That oil is important because it keeps the bulk of your tears from just evaporating away from the surface. Well, if you're caking on makeup right there, those oils aren't going to get to the surface. You could be inducing your own dry eye because you're not allowing the natural function to occur. The second thing that's an issue with it, when you block that, now you can block those oils to the point where they just build. What happens? You get a sty. And if your makeup is contaminated, you can get an infection. So there's multiple reasons. I see tight lining. It's like nails on a chalkboard for me. Because I know all the damage that it can cause. So do yourself a favor and don't put it over the tops of those oil glands or on that lid margin.
So is that what tight lining is? I've never heard that word. So
so when women pull down and they take it and they're like penciling right over, and it's so they like that shelf of the eyelid colored. That's right where those oil glands. So you want to go underneath the lashes so you stay away from those openings of those oil glands. Yeah.
It was like really popular years ago. And then it was like, don't do that. It's like, no, that's so like old school. And then now recently it's become super popular again to tightline. And I was like, yes, I love it. Finally, I'm back in the trends.
You're cool.
And now Kim's telling me, don't do that. Okay.
Yes. Avoid it if you can.
Now, what about for people? I'm just like going to go out on a limb here. What about for people who don't suffer with eye issues? Can they continue to keep on doing it?
So the tight lining, even if you don't have dry eyes, I don't like it because every time you blink, that stuff gets into your tear film too, and it migrates. So you may not have a problem now, but you keep continuing to do it over time, you're more than likely going to start having problems from it.
Okay.
So just don't do it.
Right? Okay. We might have to wean ourselves off of it.
Yeah.
Support group.
So now with age, and actually no matter if you are like a woman, let's say midlife or not, what do we need to look for in ingredients that we like really should be avoiding when it comes to our eye makeup?
So a lot of the culprits that can cause irritation are different types of preservatives. But we need preservatives. Preservatives are important because we don't want to get an infection from our eye makeup. So we have to have them. But there are some, if you do have already sensitive eyes, dry eyes, you want to try to avoid. You may have heard of parabens. Parabens are something we try to keep out of eye makeup just because they can be more irritating. And not to mention some other issues, but I won't go over those right now. And then there's also ingredients that are formaldehyde releasing donors. We don't really want that in our cosmetics, but unfortunately some of them will put them in as a preservative. So looking for healthier, softer preservative systems that are yet still strong enough to keep away the microbes. So paying attention and keeping those out. Another one or ingredient, but it's not necessarily cosmetic, but as our skincare routine, and talking about retinols. So they're all forms of vitamin A, and in certain forms of vitamin A, we need it. We need it to survive. We need our eyes to be healthy. We can have problems if we don't have enough vitamin A, but there's different forms of it, different strengths and weaknesses, so to speak, of those formulas. So very weak retinols may be okay and not pose much issues, but when you have stronger forms like tretinoin or even stronger, you may have heard an old medication, Accutane, that used to get prescribed for acne, which did a great job. The problem is it destroys the oil glands that we were talking about earlier. And if we're losing oil glands, we can end up with really severe dry eyes. So I would say caution in, especially if you already have dry eyes, sensitive eyes, I would just kind of avoid any kind of strong retinol. You can ask some specialists, say, oh, as long as you don't use it in this ocular region, it's okay. Other people say no, because it's transdermal. It can just kind of still migrate and get to that area where the glands are. So I think if it's a weaker formula or form of retinol, it's probably going to be okay. I wouldn't put it right on my eyelids, but keeping it away. But where are we usually putting that? In that crow's feet area, right?
Yeah.
That's usually where we're using it. So that's something that I would caution, is looking at the strength of what type of retinol. And if it's a strong one, I would avoid it altogether if you do have dry eyes or sensitive eyes, because you just don't want to make it worse.
Because we're not putting it directly on our eyes, but we are putting it potentially close enough that it could migrate.
Or you think you put it on right before bed and you lay on your pillow, and what happens? It's going to end up where it shouldn't.
Yeah, and you rub your eyes and not really realize what it is that you're doing. Right. Going back to like mascara, eyeliner, and that kind of thing. Let's just have you throw someone under the bus. But are there... What's like a brand that you just know right off the hop is like a no, hard no?
That's a good question. I don't know if there's necessarily a brand that I would throw under the bus. It's just more, you got to be in tune with looking at ingredients.
Because I don't know if I've even looked, but
either.
If we bought makeup, would it actually say like paraben free on it?
Sometimes it'll be on there, so it'll say, free of parabens, and it usually is. It's a way to try to market it as more of a clean formula. Right. So a lot of times it'll say paraben free or free of harsh chemicals, things like that. So yeah, I don't necessarily have a brand I would throw under the bus. I would just say it's really looking at what you're using. And there's websites. The Environmental Working Group has, what's the name of it?
Oh, it's probably like that app Yucca.
Yeah, exactly. So you can use these apps where you can check it'll tell you if that certain product is good or if it's not, or if it has products in it that you should avoid. Right. Those are super helpful.
Yeah. If you could actually read the writing on...
I know. Take a photo of it and
enlarge it.
Zoom in. I might have done that before.
Yep. Okay, so my last question for you is eyelash extensions and your thoughts on it.
Lashes are all the rage, right? And lash extensions, my professional recommendation would be, if you're thinking about getting them, ask your eye doctor. Are my eyes healthy enough to do them? How do my eyelashes look? There's a common condition called blepharitis. Blepharitis is where we get kind of bacterial buildup along the base of the eyelashes. We can have what are called Demodex, which are little mites that live in the lids and lashes. So I would want to know, are my lids healthy enough? Are they clean? Can I wear them? That's start, because you don't want to put lash extensions if you already have bad blepharitis. You really want to clean that up and treat it first. Even though we can't cure it, there's a lot of things we can do to get the lids cleaner and in a better state. And then if you are wearing lash extensions, making sure that you're taking care of them properly and cleaning them daily. That's a big thing that I see is, these women spend a lot of money and they were afraid to touch them. They don't want them to fall out any sooner. You really have to be cleaning them every day. And I've seen women who do a great job of keeping their lashes clean, and they look great under the microscope and they do well with them. But if not, and you're not taking care of it, you're just increasing your risk of blepharitis or blepharitis flaring up or getting an eye infection or getting styes. So really being mindful of just properly taking care of them like you should.
Okay. So again, coming from the standpoint of you're not wanting to just come right out of the hop and just say, don't wear lash extensions because you're very much
I
of the
think it could still be
understanding.
a good option.
Right.
But if obviously if you get them put on and if you have any, they can cause allergic reactions or
Yeah.
contact dermatitis and things like that. So obviously if you get them put on and your eyes are red or irritated or having symptoms, just have them removed and then know that you probably can't do them because you may be sensitive to the glues that they use. But the
Yeah.
normal bacteria along the lids and those Demodex mites that I mentioned, they love foreign objects like glue. And so just being mindful that can escalate if you don't already have it under control.
So we might have just the blepharitis or the mites on our on our eyelashes.
Yeah.
Would
Okay.
the optometrist tell us if they saw that?
Well, they should. Hopefully,
Okay.
they'll tell you if they see them. I know I treat blepharitis on a daily basis, and those Demodex mites. There was a new FDA-approved medication that came out for it, and it works beautifully, and it can help clear it up. But yeah, I mean, people get a little freaked out when I tell them that they have Demodex mites, but they're very common.
Really?
We don't know why some people have them and some people don't. Very common when you have rosacea. Demodex and rosacea kind of go hand in hand as well. So we can tell if you have them. We can see signs of it on the slit lamp exam.
How would
You
we
see,
know?
like, little
Would it
creepy
be
crawlies?
I know, right? Yeah.
So
Ew.
you may have them and not know.
Okay.
Because you may be asymptomatic and have
Oh
them.
my goodness.
But typically, when they start to cause symptoms, it's usually itchy eyelids. And then, so people will come into me and say, my eyes itch.
Yeah.
And my first question will be, well, is it your whole eye that feels itchy? You're kind of doing that number where you're rubbing the eyes? Or are you kind of going right along your lashes or kind of pulling at your lashes? And it's the pulling at the lashes or rubbing the lash line. That's usually the Demodex blepharitis. Usually wake up with a little bit of crusting in the mornings, overall irritation. So you get some crusting in the mornings, you got the itchy eyelids, you more than likely have Demodex.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting. So,
I use the analogy, I tell my patients, it's just like our gut health. We've
Okay.
got microbes all over us and
Right.
inside of us. And we all live together in harmony, but sometimes things get a little out of
Okay.
balance. So
That sounds better.
It's nothing that you've caught or like it's not like you're not hygienic. It can be normal.
Okay.
We just need to get it back into normal balance.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
So back to the lash extensions and the fake lashes. How can the glue and the adhesives affect eye health and tear glands and all of that over time? I'm assuming like a one-off wouldn't probably matter, but if you did that every day.
Yeah, if you're wearing them just here and there, I think it's probably fine as long as you're, removing them and washing the lids and all of that. And that's a good question. As far as over time, the biggest thing I see of women that just don't want to get rid of them is usually that buildup of that blepharitis.
Okay.
And eventually they'll have to break down and have them removed so we can clean it back up and get them back under control.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess the glue like plugs up all of those little oil glands. And
Yeah, well,
stuff
the
like that.
glue's usually above, so it's not usually where the oil glands are at. It's usually at the base of the eyelashes.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So usually, hopefully it isn't migrating and going over the meibomian glands, because that wouldn't be good.
So what's your thoughts on strips versus lash extensions then?
For like the magnetic strips? Or like
no,
where
the
they
ones that
actually
you
go
would actually
in and do them individually?
So the eyelash extensions where they'll like glue them on
Yeah.
individually, but then like the strip that you can just like put the glue on and then just stick it above like the eyelashes. Do you think one's better than the other?
I don't know. They're both using glue. I think the proper
Glue,
thing is
yeah.
maintaining that, the maintenance and the cleaning more than anything. I don't know if one glue may be better than the other, but in principle, I feel
Okay.
like they're pretty similar.
And then the magnetic, obviously no
Right.
glue with those. I think. But I think that I've seen like videos where the magnetic goes under the lashes instead of over the top.
And
Is that an
it
issue?
has to be
Or
wherever
do you know?
you're applying that. Some of them have that magnetic pencil and you draw it on. As long as you're above, I would
is that
think.
what that is?
I've also
Oh.
seen ones where they sandwich, so you have magnet on
Yes.
each, and just that'd probably
Yes.
be the best option, as long as it's not too heavy
Okay.
and pulling on your lashes and pulling them out and causing damage from that way.
Right. Okay.
along with the lashes, I don't know if you guys have been hearing people talk about lash tints and perms and lips, lash
Oh,
lifts.
Yes.
I'm not a fan of those
Yeah.
either. The chemicals that you have to use to perform it, I just don't think
Yeah.
are safe to be that close to the eye. So I would avoid it.
I could imagine.
yeah.
I could imagine it just burns.
I know you think of like, I remember when I was younger, my mom gave me a perm, and I think of those chemicals. My eyes
The
are
smell?
watering. It's on my
Yes.
head, it's on my
Yeah.
eyelids. So yeah, I'd avoid that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Would that be a similar thought for lash growth serums?
So that
Because I've seen a lot of people using those as well.
So lash growth serums, you really got to pay attention to what is in them. Years ago, a product came out called Latisse. And basically that company just rebranded a glaucoma medication. We use that active ingredient, and we still use it to this day because it works really great as a glaucoma agent to help lower the eye pressures. But that active ingredient is what's called a prostaglandin analog. Prostaglandin analogs are known to be very pro-inflammatory. So they're going to bring more inflammation to the surface of the eyes and to the eyelid. So when you're using something with a prostaglandin, the risks are getting your eyelids can become red, your eyes can become red. You can also have increased risk of meibomian gland dysfunction, which can lead to more styes and overall dry eye symptoms. The other thing that people don't realize too is it can have an effect with the orbital fat around the eyes. So people can get that sunken eye appearance because the prostaglandin can cause that fat to atrophy. And so those are some of the side effects of prostaglandins that aren't talked about. And over-the-counter products, they don't have to tell you that that's in there. And so make sure it doesn't have an ingredient with a it'll be somewhere in the name, but PROST. It's probably a prostaglandin. I would avoid that. There are other ones on the market that are free of prostaglandins and have other ingredients that are helpful with lash growth and overall health of the lashes. Those are the ones I would use, and I would avoid Latisse or anything with a prostaglandin in it. And if you aren't sure, get on ChatGPT or Google it to see if it has a prostaglandin in it, and just
That's
avoid
good to
those
know.
because those are the ones that will cause a lot of problems.
All right. So now permanent makeup, like eyeliner tattooing, has become more and more popular lately. What should we know? Are there things that we should know or consider before doing a procedure like this?
Yes. So eyeliner tattoo or tattoo eyeliner, it's, some people will say, well, it's better than someone putting cosmetics on every day and introducing those irritants on a daily basis. So it may be better for dry eyes. But on the flip side of that coin, you're taking a needle onto very, very thin skin. And what is just beneath there are those oil glands we keep talking about and referencing. And they're so vitally important for a healthy tear film. And so if you are someone who already maybe has some dry eyes or sensitive eyes or any irritation, I would avoid it completely, and I would not get tattoo eyeliner because you don't want to risk scarring or worse meibomian gland dysfunctioning, worse dry eyes. And two, just make sure you don't have a reaction to it because, some people can have a reaction to the dyes and the tattoo, and now you have it right on your eyelid. So difficult place to try to remove it if you needed to.
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
But
I
a
couldn't
professional
imagine it going
opinion,
wrong.
I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Get a good pencil eyeliner that
I
you
can't
remove
imagine.
daily, and
Yeah.
that's a safer bet.
Right. Yeah. Just take the
Yeah.
time.
No, it's right. Your
No,
face is
no.
right there. And also, I can't imagine how much that would hurt. I have tattoos, so I know how much that hurts.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would want to be putting that anywhere near my eye.
Me neither.
And then risking all of these other things on top of it. All right. What daily habits can women adopt to protect their eye health while still enjoying makeup and beauty routines?
So making sure you're removing your makeup daily. I think that's a big one. Some people just kind of, I'm tired, and they just go to sleep and don't remove it. But making sure it is a daily routine to take off all makeup. Doing lid scrubs daily. Lid scrubs isn't really scrubbing. It's just making sure we're cleaning the lids and lashes. And there's a lot of good products over the counter. I like ones that contain hypochlorous acid. So there's a number of products like that. And it's a spray cleanser. So after you finish, removing your eye makeup. You can spray that on a cotton pad or just directly on the eyelids. I use it myself. I spray it on a cotton pad, close, and just kind of gently wipe and clean the lids and lashes, and do that once or twice a day just to keep the lids clean.
That's great. I've seen those are becoming more and more popular as well, the hypochlorous acid sprays. That's good to know.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I was like, I don't know if I need that. But maybe it's something that I will be incorporating after today.
Can you use it over lash extensions?
Yep.
Oh, you can. Nice.
It's good for other things too, right? It's not, I mean,
It's used enough. Yeah.
I've heard,
It's
that it's just good for all over.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that's great.
And then also to that point, just reminders of, you don't share cosmetics. We don't want to share our mascara with anybody, including family. And my daughter's 12 and, Mom, can I wear your mascara? No, absolutely not. We'll get you your own bottle of mascara and you will use it and you don't share it. So simple tips like that. And then another thing that I think gets overlooked, and we're probably all guilty, even us three sitting here, but are we throwing out our cosmetics when we should? So what is recommended, and I'll go over that real quick.
Yes.
Mascara. Well,
yes.
First of all products will have that PAO label. The period after opening looks like a little jar open and may have 6M, 12M, 24M. That's telling you, okay, this was tested and the preservative system will hold up, and after you open it, you should throw it out by that point, right? Well, when we're talking about things we're using near the eyes, we're more strict, especially if you already have dry eyes or sensitive eyes. So for mascara, for instance, my mascara has where it's good up to 6 months after you open it, because that's what the testing shows. However, we don't tell you to throw it out in 6 months. We tell you to throw it out in 3 months. So once you start using that mascara and it's touched the lashes, you really should throw it out after 90 days or 3 months. When it comes to eyeliners, we're talking about eyeliners, depending on the type of eyeliner, if it's a liquid or a gel, typically 3 to 6 months, you should throw it out. But if you have dry eyes, closer to 3 months. If it's a pencil eyeliner, because you can sharpen it, so I love pencil eyeliners for that reason, can sharpen away that bacteria, that you can use for 12 to 24 months. Again, if you have dry eyes, you should throw it out in 12. Eyeshadow, if you have powdered eyeshadows, it's 12 to 24 months. But if it's a liquid, liquids are more, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. Cream base and liquid are 6 to 12 months. But again, if you have dry eyes, you would be more towards the 6 months. So making sure that you're throwing them out when you should and not holding on to those cosmetics longer than they're meant to be.
It's so you forget, right? Like, oh, when did I open this? Oh, I think it was only a couple months ago.
Sure.
Meanwhile, it's like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
You forget. But also on that topic, makeup brushes.
Yes.
And sponges and stuff that we're reusing.
Yes, making sure you're washing those or changing them out, right? If you got good brushes, wash them on a regular basis. Don't wait and let that accumulate. So rule of thumb with any of those cosmetics, if it's a liquid base or has water in it, you got to be more mindful than if you have something that's like a powder base.
I got some homework to do. As an eye doctor, what's the biggest misconception women have about aging eyes and beauty?
I've got a few. One, that kind of looking younger is only about like the skin, your face and the texture of the skin. It's your eyes as well. So when your eyes are white and your tear film is the way it should be and your eyelids are comfortable and everything's working, your eyes look brighter and you look more alert. When your eyes get dry and irritated and they're, things are flaring up, your eyes get red, you just look more tired and run down. So, having healthy eyes can be a step to make you look younger and more vibrant, right? Another thing would be, beauty products can't affect eye health. And I think we've done a good job of talking about that today, that it absolutely can. And so if you're having eye irritation, that should be one of the first things that you look at is, kind of what's in my cosmetics. Could I be making this problem worse? And then lastly is that, eye irritation is just a part of getting older. That is not the case. Our eyes should be comfortable the whole time. So not everybody ends up with dry eyes or irritated eyes. So if you're having redness, irritation, you can't wear your contacts as long, you've got end of the day fatigue, you probably have an issue, and you really should speak up and talk to your eye care provider about what could be going on and how they can help you look and feel better.
There is such an emotional component to all of this, to beauty, to confidence, to aging. How important do you find it for women that come to see you? How important is it that they still feel feminine, polished, and like themselves while navigating, the health changes when we're going through menopause or perimenopause?
I think it's extremely important. When how we feel about ourselves affects our mental health, and our mental health is just as important as our physical health. So absolutely, it's extremely important.
Which I guess is what led you to come up with Ever Beauty.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to be able to not only help women see their best and look their best, I want them to feel their best all the way around.
I think as well now, let's just say like COVID times really put people in the spot of like constantly being on Zoom. And, obviously we were talking to our phones and stuff like that before that. But I think that there was things really amped up during COVID where we were constantly seeing ourselves on a screen. And I do think that it made a really big impact on women where from a confidence side, where you would see yourself on a daily basis and you would pick yourself apart, right? And you would see your eyes. And I remember there was even times where I would be on a call and I'd sit like this. And then I would like kind of raise my eyebrows a little bit just because I could see myself. And I'm like, oh my God. Like just trying to think, okay, well, how can I sit like this? And flatten things out. It'll lift the eyebrows and stuff. And it does take a toll on us, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And with the messaging in the media, like, you don't want to grow old. Growing old is bad. You look ugly. Get rid of your wrinkles. Get rid of all the things. And blah, 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 more, less, whatever it is. So there is huge pressure on women to want to look a certain way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This wasn't one of our questions, but when you were talking about blepharitis or... but there's also a really big uptick right now, or maybe it's just our age. I don't really know, but everyone's getting like the upper bleph and stuff like that done. It's very, very common. And there has been eye doctors that I have talked to where they do also truly believe like that the eyelash extensions are what's kind of causing a bit of the issue because they're so heavy. What are your thoughts around like just that whole side of things?
I mean, like we were talking about earlier with the magnetic weighting it down, the same thing, like if they've got those really big, long lashes and they're heavy and they can pull down, change that lid anatomy over time if you're constantly wearing them and never giving the eyes a break. But it's funny that you bring that up too. There was actually a study done looking at the length of the eyelashes and how that affects the ocular surface. So when you have really long lashes, it kind of creates this wind tunnel effect and pushes the air back into the eye. And then it actually creates more dry eyes too. So you also want to be mindful of the length. You don't want super long lashes that could be just basically fanning the ocular surface and causing more dryness. Yeah.
That's
like wearing
so
a fan
funny.
on your face all the time.
Too funny.
But blepharoplasties are very common. Yeah. And that's another thing I just want to touch base real quick. If you are thinking about getting an upper bleph, just making sure your eyes are in good condition as well. And if you do suffer from dry eyes, talking to the surgeon so that they know. Usually they can be pretty good. You want one that doesn't take too much. They can always go back and take a little more skin off, but they can't put it back if they've taken too much. So if you are thinking about having a blepharoplasty and you do already have dry eyes, just to make sure, again, that they're aware of that and that they don't take too much skin, so that your eyes can still properly close and function afterwards.
Who was it that I just saw?
There's been a few men who recently do not look like they've had an upper bluff and maybe it took a little too much.
Yeah.
Like famous men, like Gen X.
Oh, really?
Kinda, oh yeah. There's been a few and I'm like, oh,
Well-
because I was like, oh, that's what I need. I need this upper bluff. My eyebrow, my what's it called? Eyelids are
Eyelids,
way too heavy. I've noticed they keep just getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And like was recently talking to a friend of mine and I was like, I don't know anymore.
Oh.
Like, because if it goes wrong, like it's right there. And like you said, you can't go back and put it back. So I don't know
Well,
anymore.
And if they do take, like you were saying, if they do take too much skin, your eyes won't fully close. And then it's going to create more dry eyes. Like when you sleep and stuff like that. Someone just told
Create
me
more
that.
problems. Oh, did they?
That's what happened. Yeah, it's happening to
Oh,
them.
like a real
I
person?
can't remember. Yeah.
No, I'm thinking like, I don't know, Bradley
like not a
Cooper.
celebrity. Yeah. Did he get it done?
Yeah, well, people are saying he's denying it, I think. But
Oh,
people
really?
are like the gossip people out there are saying
Yeah.
that that's what it looks like he got done. And it's not looking great. Also,
Wow.
Adam Levine, I think.
Oh, really?
Anyway, I don't want to spread any more rumors or anything about these
Allegedly. Just gonna
famous
say
people.
allegedly.
Allegedly. There you go. But yeah, made me have some second thoughts about it. But
If you're in the hands of a good
not
good
something-
surgeon and they're mindful, it can be a great thing and you get really beautiful results. That's usually why I recommend an oculoplastic surgeon because
Right, 'cause-
they're trained in both. They're going to do the plastic surgery around the eyes, but they're
Yeah.
ophthalmologists as well, so they're going to be in tune with the surface of the eye.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good to know.
that's smart. Yeah. Because I've definitely seen some great ones too. For sure.
Yeah, they could do
Yeah.
beautiful work and it looks great and not even look like anything was done and no after effects.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
All right, we'll put a pin in that. Maybe down the road. All right, so it's safe to say that your mission is to help women to see their best, feel their best, look their best. What would you say to the woman who feels like aging or health changes means she has to give up on things like makeup, say, that make her feel confident?
I say don't give up. There's hope and there's options out there and hopefully more and more to come in the future. So, and have those open conversations with your providers. Not every doctor is going to ask you about, those things, your cosmetics or how your eyes feel or how you feel about yourself. So
right.
open up those conversations because if they don't realize it's a problem for you, they're not going to necessarily bring it up. So have the conversations and don't give up.
That's good advice.
And then hop onto your website and order.
Go to Ever Beauty.
Everbeautycosmetics.com.
Can you tell us about what products do you have, Kim, and what?
So first,
I guess tell us a little bit about them.
To launch is just a mascara as far as the cosmetics. It's a clean formula. It's basically like a tubing formula, so it removes really easily with warm water. But I'd say it's kind of more like a hybrid because when I wear it, I feel like it wears more like a traditional mascara, but it removes super easy with warm water and just gently, even just wiping with your fingers or warm water in a microfiber cloth. And I also have some ingredients in there that are healthy for the lashes to try to help support, lash health. And it performs really well. And it's, you can put on as little or as much as you want to get the effect. I'm one of those, I like just a coat or two to just a little bit for me goes a long way. But it is buildable. So if you wanted that more dramatic effect, I do have one other product as well. It's just a moisturizing cream. It's more of a balm, I would say, because it's really thick. Because that was the other thing that women would ask for is, what can I use just to kind of moisturize the skin, especially in that crow's feet area, that they don't want any retinol or anything in it that would be, kind of working against them. So that's another thing that I have as well is a hydrating, moisturizing balm eyelid cream.
That's awesome.
What else do you have down the road?
So next up I would like to get, we talked a lot about eyeliners. That's another one I want to get in the pipeline. And then also a cream-based shadow because I feel like those are better versus powder, less migration of things getting in and getting trapped in your tear film and causing more irritation. So those are the other things that I'm looking at bringing on in the future.
And I have another question as well, because you did mention that you have a 12-year-old daughter. And we had mentioned a little bit earlier in the conversation that, girls are starting to wear makeup a lot younger, and Sephora is doing a really good job of emptying our bank accounts. Maybe for a mom or an aunt or anything that has some younger girls in their family, what are some things that you would tell them to like encourage them to do with like the younger generation of girls that are putting on makeup?
And, for instance, my mascara, I'm marketing towards, women that have dry eyes or older. However, it can be, why do we have to wait until there's a problem? Clean beauty should start, when they start wearing cosmetics, kind of educating them about clean beauty and really kind of steering away from things that could be harmful over time. So just because they're young and don't have any problems yet, just kind of treating it like we would now, however you're wearing your cosmetics, really teaching your kids, okay, when you start wearing, you got to make sure you're removing it. You got to make sure you're throwing it out. Like feeling that at a young age. So it's already just second nature. I already know, I've already had this. I got to toss this. It's been 3 months. So my mom told me I can't sleep on my mascara. I've got to take it off. So really the rules that we're following, we really should be passing down to them.
Yeah, I guess I remember my mom harping on me and making sure that I washed my face every night, which I don't know if I did, but
right.
But I do think that there's just so much, there's a lot more out there, obviously. But like how we were talking at the beginning too, that Yucca app, and I don't really know if there's I'm sure that there are other apps where, they could probably even walk into Sephora and just like scan some of their products, or go into their bathroom and scan some of their products, or as a parent, maybe scan some of it and just take a quick look. Because I've even heard of like the younger girls too, where they're using products that like women 40 plus are using.
I know. My daughter's pulled things off the shelf and wants to purchase stuff when we're at Ulta or Sephora, and I look up, I'm like, no, absolutely not. This has retinols and you don't need any of that. You're 12 years old. No, put that back. So being mindful and looking over what your children are using, and just making sure that exactly they're not using things that are meant for 30, 40, 50, things that are safer and don't have those chemicals in it.
Because they're not looking at what's in it. They're either probably looking at the packaging or looking at, they saw something on TikTok and
exactly.
So for any of our listeners that want to learn a little bit more about your cosmetic line, how can they find out a little bit more? Where can they go?
I've got a website. It's Everbeauty, so EVRbeautycosmetics.com. And that's mainly where I'll be selling it. There'll be a couple of other outlets as well, but that'll be the main place.
Great. Okay. And it's launched? It's launching this month, I believe? Next month? Sorry.
In June, yes. So mid-June, I should have all products and ready to go. Yep.
Oh, perfect. Oh, okay. And for anyone who does have questions for you or does want to come and see you, where can they find you?
So I am in Jacksonville, Florida. So I practice with a group called Florida Eye Specialists, and that's where I see patients. And
Perfect. Okay. Well, Cynthia, any questions?
I don't know. I think we've hit everything.
Yeah. This has been very good. Very
informative.
Yes. I need to go and make some changes.
I know.
Now.
Got some homework to do, both
makeup.
of us. Yep.
It's a good talk because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to this.
Yeah.
And I think a lot that we either, we maybe know, I know I need to clean my brushes this often, or I know I need to throw out but if it's not sort of something I'm actively thinking about, then, the day goes on, the next day, and then it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because it's not something that, is in the forefront, in the center of our mind all day, every day. It's just that, in the morning when I put my makeup on, or in the evening when I take my makeup off. But I'm not thinking about it as clearly as I probably should be, and how it can affect a lot, especially my eyes.
And how it might actually be linked to some of the eye issues that you have right now
Yeah, exactly.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kim. We really appreciate it.
This was fun.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us on Pressed Intentions. We hope you felt seen, supported, and maybe had a few laughs along the way. Don't forget to share, subscribe, rate, and review us. Your support keeps the conversation alive. Follow us on social media for more insights, behind-the-scenes fun, and updates on future episodes. Got a topic you want us to dive into? We'd love to hear from you. Remember, life's too short for bad bras, toxic relationships, and kale you don't actually like. So until next time, stay bold and keep your breast intentions exactly where they belong, front and center. Now go crush midlife, or at least today's to-do list. Cheers!